So we got a question from Sean. Sean says, what is your thought process in developing a song? So I always like to put a couple notes once I'm hearing that. So let's say you say thought process. Just give me a second here. So thought. Okay, I can actually go over a little bit more. I have some more space, right? What is your, where are we here? So let's say thought process. Okay, what is your thought process in developing song? Let's say develop song. Okay, so what is your thought process in developing a song? Do you get a good melody first? Is it melody first? Okay, melody first, or do you use a chord progression? Let's say chord progression. Let's put this. So melody first or chord progression, and go from there. Just trying to gather a different approach somebody like yourself would do. For example, like, would you start at a 1-6-2-5, and that's a progression, or would you look at like I'm a play the 4-3-6-1-1-3-4 and then add chords. Okay, so for example, and then you put it as a progression. You put 1-6-2-5-1, which I just choose. So basically, if I choose a chord progression, or would I take the melody which you have, play, I don't know, okay, I don't think that's a sharp 4. I think you just put as a numbers. So then, or would I take a melody that has, let's say 4-3-6-1-3-4, and then add the chords to it? That is an excellent question, Sean. Okay, so you're asking, what's the thought process to develop a song? Would I do the melody first, or with a chord progression? Now, sometimes, okay, the majority of times for me, as someone, I've created some songs, a lot of times the melody for me comes first. Because when you're listening to a song, what do you hear first? The majority of the time you're hearing the melody, right? You're hearing the melody first, right? That's how you can identify the song. However, there's been many times where I was playing a progression and I was like, man, this progression feels good, right? And then I make a melody that goes on top of it. It's a lot easier to create a melody on top of a chord progression, right? And then just make it, just make it work. However, if you have a melody, I think that gives a little bit more room to be more creative in a lot of senses, all right? So for example, with this example, let's say if I took the approach of, now I have a 1-6-2-5-1. So if I'm in the key of C and I have my 1-6-2-5-1, however, the melody that you told me there was a 4-3-6-1-3-4. So let's say, so for that, with this particular melody, I mean, I could try to put these together. I can actually put them together too. But yeah, so what I would do is, let's say if you had to do it the way where you had the chords and you want to make them fit, I would have to make them fit this way. Now, I'll teach why later on. So let's say I did 4-3. Okay, hold on. You can't even see that. Okay, so I had the 4-3. And then 4-3, let's say I did a 6 here, 6, and then a 1, and then a 3, 4, and then nothing here. Okay, so I ended up using your 4-3-6-1-3-4. So therefore I have, and then the 1. So, right? So let's say if I repeated it. So I had, the melody was, let's say 4-3-6-1-3-4, nothing, right? Or let's say the 1 starts again. Let's do that. So let's say the 1 started again, right? So if I'm trying to make this melody work with the progression that I have, so therefore I would do that. So I made that melody work with that progression, one, because I understand the third step, which is indicator notes, right? And I'm able to put that in, right? So that's an approach that I can take. Now, hopefully that's clear, Sean, but now if I took a different approach, so that's if the melody first, sorry, that was the chord approach first. So I had to make the melody fit within the chords. If I take the approach now of the melody first, then I think that gives me a little bit more flexibility, right? So I can make it, I could go like this. So now I have this melody. For me personally, I play the melody, right? Let's say, so let's say if I did this, right, I'm just playing my 2 chord to my 6. Right? So I can now kind of see how I feel based upon obviously understanding. So you can approach it both ways. I like to approach it from the hearing the melody and then see what I feel from the melody and make chords based upon that, right? Then just choosing the progression first. However, I do it both ways, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Both ways are good. So Sean, if I didn't answer your question, or if you have something else that you want to need me to clarify on that, please let me know. All right. That was a very good question.